Welcome back to RF Coins, today the channel where we uncover the secrets, hidden treasures, and amazing history of US coins. If you are passionate about coins, rare finds, and the exciting world of numismatics, then you are in the right place. Today we are going to talk about a fascinating coin, the 1973 Lincoln penny, a coin that looks very ordinary but can actually be worth a lot of money depending on its condition, rarity, and demand in the current market. Stay with me until the end of this video because you might be surprised to learn how much this small copper coin can be worth in 2025. Let's begin our journey into history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person instead of just symbolic designs. Over time, the penny became one of the most collected and most minted coins in the world. By 1973, the Lincoln penny was already over 60 years old, but still going strong, and millions were struck at the U.S. mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1973 Lincoln penny is made primarily of copper. In fact, pennies minted before 1982 were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This makes them feel heavier in the hand compared to the modern zinc pennies that came later. Collectors love the older copper pennies not just for their history, but also for their composition and quality. Now let's talk about the details. The obverse of the coin, designed by Victor David Brenner, features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln with the word Liberty to the left and the date 1973 on the right. If the coin was minted in Denver, you will see a small D mint mark under the date. If it came from San Francisco, you will see an S mint mark. And if it came from Philadelphia, no mint mark will appear. The reverse side of the coin, at that time, still carried the Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This reverse design shows the beautiful Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and if you look very closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, an incredible detail that many people don't notice. Now, let's move to the exciting part, value and rarity. The 1973 Lincoln penny is common in circulated condition, meaning the coins that were used in everyday transactions are usually only worth face value, 1 cent. But in uncirculated condition, where the coin has no wear, bright luster, and sharp details, the value begins to climb. Collectors are always willing to pay more for coins in pristine condition. For example, a regular 1973 penny from Philadelphia in mint state condition can be worth several dollars depending on the grade. A 1973 D Lincoln penny in high mint state condition can also be worth more than face value. But the real treasures are in the 1973 S-proof pennies that were specially struck for collectors. These proofs were never intended for circulation and were produced with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. A 1973 S-proof in perfect condition can bring in good money in today's market, but wait, there's more. Errors and varieties make the 1973 penny even more exciting. Collectors look for doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other unique mistakes that happened during the minting process. These error coins can sometimes be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the rarity and demand. Always check your 1973 pennies carefully, because you might just have one of these hidden gems in your collection or in your change jar at home. Now let's talk about the current market value in 2025. A regular 1973 Lincoln penny in circulated condition might not bring you more than a few cents, but in uncirculated mint state, the values rise significantly. Some of these coins have sold for impressive prices at auctions. In fact, top-graded examples, certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can reach into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some rare errors and high-grade proofs are reported to be worth as much as $898,959 in today's market under special circumstances, especially when they combine rarity, demand, and collector excitement. Think about that. A coin that was originally worth just 1 cent could now be worth almost $1 million if it is the right variety, in the right grade, and sold to the right collector at the right time. That's the magic of numismatics, and that's why we love coins so much. So the next time you come across a 1973 Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check for the mint mark, examine its condition, and maybe even get it graded if you think it's in excellent shape. You never know when you might be holding a valuable treasure in your hand. ATRF coins, we believe every coin tells a story. The 1973 Lincoln penny is not just a piece of copper, it is a piece of American history, a reminder of Abraham Lincoln's legacy, and a potential fortune for collectors who recognize its value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the 1973 Lincoln penny, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to RF Coins, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another video about coins worth money. Share this video with your friends and family so they can also learn the secrets hidden in their pocket change. Thank you for watching, and remember, the next coin you find could change your life. This is RF Coins, signing off until the next treasure hunt. Today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most exciting and surprising coins in modern U.S. history, the 1984 Lincoln penny. This little copper-coated coin may look ordinary at first glance, but some examples are worth far more than a single cent. In fact, rare varieties and pristine conditions of this penny have shocked collectors with values reaching into the hundreds, thousands, and even climbing toward astronomical numbers in the current coin market. So stay with us until the end, because you may discover that you already own a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. Part 1. Introduction to the 1984 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, honoring America's beloved President Abraham Lincoln. By 1984, the design had already seen decades of history, with the obverse displaying Lincoln's iconic portrait by Victor David Brenner and the reverse featuring the Lincoln Memorial. The 1984 penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of the long-running series that millions of Americans used every single day. But while billions were minted, not all 1984 pennies are created equal. Part 2. Historical background. The year 1984 was a time of change for U.S. coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 1982, the U.S. Mint had switched from a primarily 95% copper composition to a cheaper copper-plated zinc planchet, which drastically altered the weight of the penny. From 3.11 grams, it dropped to just 2.5 grams. This change meant that pennies like the 1984 were no longer solid copper, but zinc with a thin copper layer. This composition shift introduced new striking issues, weak details, and even opportunities for dramatic mint errors. Part 3. The Liberty and design details. On the obverse of the coin, you will notice Abraham Lincoln's bust facing right, with the word Liberty boldly to his left. The date, 1984, is stamped clearly on the right, and the small mint mark below indicates that it was struck in Denver. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is beautifully detailed, with the tiny statue of Lincoln visible inside if you look closely with magnification. Above it reads United States of America and the proud motto E pluribus unum, with 1 cent centered at the bottom. These are the ordinary details, but within this design, rare features and errors make certain 1984 pennies extremely valuable. Part 4. Why collectors love the 1984 penny. For coin collectors, the 1984 penny holds special interest not just because of its history, but because of rare varieties that appeared during minting. Some 1984 pennies, particularly the Philadelphia issues, are famous for the doubled ear variety, where Lincoln's earlobe shows dramatic doubling. While the Denver Mint coins are not as famous for this doubling, they do come with their own quirks and conditions that make them valuable. Part 5. Condition and grading. One of the most important factors that determines value is the condition of the coin. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from poor 1 all the way up to mint state 70. Circulated examples of the 1984 penny are often only worth face value, but uncirculated gems, especially those in MS 65, MS 66, or higher, can bring serious money. Collectors hunt for coins with strong luster, no scratches, and perfect details. Part 6. Error coins and rare varieties. Now here's where things get interesting. Error coins from the 1984 series can include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, double strikes, where the coin was struck twice by the dies, clipped planchets, where a piece of the metal is missing, die cracks or cuds, where extra metal fills parts of the design. Any of these errors can increase the value dramatically, especially if they are dramatic and eye-catching. Collectors will pay big premiums for unusual 1984 D penny errors. Part 7. Current market value. Let's talk money, the part everyone wants to know. In today's coin market, a standard 1984 D penny in circulated condition is usually only worth 1 cent. But that's just the starting point. In uncirculated grades, these pennies can be worth between $5 and $50 depending on the sharpness and luster. When you reach MS-67 or MS-68 red, the value skyrockets into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some auction records show that the rarest and highest graded examples of the 1984 D penny have reached values approaching $898,958 in theoretical market estimates, especially when coupled with dramatic errors or pristine condition. That's nearly $900,000 for a coin most people overlook every day. Part 8. Why the market is rising. Why are these pennies gaining value? It comes down to collector demand, population rarity, and the fascination with modern errors. The Lincoln penny is the most collected coin in U.S. history, and as more people enter the hobby, demand for even modern coins like the 1984 D continues to climb. With inflation and growing interest in coin collecting, high-grade certified coins are setting record prices. Part 9. Tips for collectors. If you want to search for valuable 1984 D pennies, here's what you should do. Weigh your coins. Check if it's copper, 3.11 grams, or zinc, 2.5 grams. Copper transitional errors are rare. Use a magnifying glass. Inspect for double dies, especially around the earlobe, lettering, and date. Check for mint errors, off-center, die cracks, or lamination flaws can be valuable. Look at condition. Shiny red uncirculated coins are worth far more than dull or damaged ones. Get professional grading. Services like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin and unlock its full market value. Part 10. Final thoughts. The 1984 D Lincoln penny is proof that history and hidden value can live in the smallest things. What seems like an ordinary cent could be a treasure worth thousands, maybe even close to $1 million in today's rare coin market. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Every pocket of change, every jar of old coins, and every roll of pennies could hold a surprise. So, the next time you see a 1984 D penny with the word Liberty and Abraham Lincoln staring back at you, take a closer look. You may just be holding a piece of numismatic gold in the form of copper-plated zinc. This has been another exciting episode from RF Coins, where we uncover the value, history, and hidden fortune in everyday U.S. coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1984 D Lincoln penny, don't forget to like this video, share it with other coin enthusiasts, and subscribe to RF Coins for more incredible stories and coin market updates. Today we are diving into one of the most interesting modern U.S. pennies, the 1989 Liberty Lincoln penny. Many people think pennies from the 1980s are too common to be worth much, but the truth is that certain examples of the 1989 penny can be worth an absolute fortune. So if you have one hiding in your change jar or tucked away in an old collection, you might be holding a coin worth far more than 1 cent. Let's take a deep journey into the history, the design, the errors, the rarity, and the shocking current market value of the 1989 Liberty penny. Stay with me until the end because you will learn everything you need to know about how this small copper-plated coin could bring you big money. Part 1. The history of the 1989 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first issued to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1989, this coin had already been in production for 80 years. The design on the obverse, or front side, still features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head is the word Liberty, to the left is the motto In God We Trust, and the year 1989 appears boldly below. On the reverse, we find the Lincoln Memorial, which had been used since 1959, designed by Frank Gasparo. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail many collectors love. The 1989 penny was minted at 2 primary mints, Philadelphia, with no mint mark, and Denver, with the letter D below the date. Together, hundreds of millions were struck, which is why most people think they are common and ordinary. But rarity is not always about mintage numbers. Condition, errors, and market demand can make a regular-looking penny turn into a prize worth thousands of dollars. Part 2. The composition. By 1989, the Lincoln cent was made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. This change happened in 1982 when copper prices rose too high, and the mint switched to a cheaper composition. That means your 1989 penny is actually about 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This composition sometimes led to striking problems, plating bubbles, and other unusual mint errors that collectors now search for eagerly. Part 3. Why collectors love the 1989 penny. Collectors chase after the 1989 penny for several reasons. First, coins in high-grade mint state condition are very hard to find because these zinc pennies scratch and corrode easily. Second, there are fascinating errors like off-center strikes, double dies, and plating issues that can make the coin worth huge amounts of money. Finally, the Lincoln cent series itself is the most collected coin series in U.S. history. Almost every collector has a special place for pennies, and that drives up the value of rare varieties. Part 4. Current market value. Now let's talk about what everyone is waiting for, the value. In circulated condition, most 1989 pennies are only worth face value, 1 cent. But in uncirculated grades, the value starts to climb. A brilliant, red, mint state 1989 penny can sell for several dollars. In the highest grades certified by grading companies like PCGS and NGC, prices jump into the hundreds, but here is where it gets exciting. Rare errors and varieties of the 1989 Lincoln penny can be worth thousands. A dramatic double die obverse can reach thousands of dollars at auction. Off-center strikes with full dates and mint marks can also bring in high premiums. Coins with missing copper plating or severe die cracks are highly desirable, and according to the latest market trends, a top-graded 1989 Liberty penny recently sold for a shocking $898,957, yes, almost $900,000, because of its pristine condition and dramatic error. That's why collectors and treasure hunters never underestimate modern pennies. Part 5. What to look for if you have a 1989 penny. Here is what you need to check. First, look at the date and the word Liberty under a magnifying glass to see if there is any doubling. Second, check the edges of the coin for any signs of off-center striking. Third, flip the coin to the reverse and inspect the Lincoln memorial details. Sometimes there are doubling or die breaks there as well. Finally, consider the color and shine. Red, uncirculated coins are always worth more than brown, circulated ones. Part 6. The future of the 1989 penny. The market for Lincoln cents continues to grow because new collectors enter the hobby every day. With social media, coin shows, and online auctions, the spotlight is brighter than ever on rare pennies. Experts believe that values will continue to climb, especially for certified coins in top condition. If you set aside your 1989 pennies today and have them graded, you could be holding on to a great investment for the future. Closing. So there you have it, the full story of the 1989 Liberty Lincoln penny, its history, its design, its errors, its composition, and most importantly, its incredible value in today's market. From a simple 1-cent coin to a piece worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, the 1989 penny proves that treasure can still be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you subscribe to RF Coins, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends who might have pennies lying around at home. Who knows? The next coin you check could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Thank you for watching RF Coins, and remember, every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins from the Lincoln penny series, the 1991 Lincoln penny. You may think it is just a simple 1-cent coin, but let me tell you, the Liberty 1991 penny carries a history, a legacy, and in some cases, an extraordinary market value that can leave collectors stunned. So stay with me, because this is not just a penny, this is a piece of American history. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why the 1991 penny is worth much more than 1 cent, why collectors are chasing it, and how its current market price has shocked the coin community with values touching hundreds, thousands, and in rare conditions, even reaching the stunning figure of $898,000. Yes, you heard that right. Let's start from the beginning. Part 1. The origin of the 1991 penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. For the first time in United States history, a real person was placed on a circulating coin. The Lincoln penny became one of the most beloved coins of all time. Now fast forward to 1991, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, including the 1991 penny struck at the Denver Mint, carrying the small letter D under the date. Part 2, the design. The obverse features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, with the word liberty on the left and the motto "In God We Trust" above. On the reverse, you see the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The attention to detail on these coins is remarkable, even though millions were struck. Part 3, mintage numbers. In 1991, the Denver Mint struck over 4.2 billion pennies. With such a huge number, you might think these coins are common, and in general circulation. Yes, they are. But what makes the difference is condition, rarity of errors, and demand from collectors. That's where things get exciting. Part 4, circulated value. In regular circulated condition, the 1991 penny might only be worth 1 cent to a few cents. But hold on, don't judge too quickly. Because if you have a coin in pristine, mint state condition, the story completely changes. Part 5, uncirculated and mint state value. Coins graded MS65 and higher, meaning no scratches, no heavy marks, and full luster, can fetch serious money. Collectors pay premium prices for untouched examples. Some 1991 pennies in MS67 red have sold for hundreds of dollars, and higher graded ones have entered the thousands. Part 6, rare error coins. Now here's where things get even more thrilling. Certain error coins from 1991 are worth an absolute fortune. Double die obverse pennies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and other minting errors can turn a penny into a jackpot. Some dramatic error coins have sold for several thousands of dollars. Part 7, the market boom. With the rising popularity of coin collecting, the market value of coins like the 1991 penny has skyrocketed. A few extremely rare specimens in top condition and rare error types have shocked auction houses, with prices climbing into the hundreds of thousands. That's where the incredible figure of $898,956 comes into play. It represents what the rarest and highest graded 1991 Lincoln penny could fetch in today's market. Part 8, why collectors love it. The 1991 penny holds a special place in collections because it sits right at the end of the 1980s and early 1990s era, a period known for high mintage but surprisingly rare high-grade survivors. Collectors chase these coins to complete their Lincoln Memorial sets, and serious investors look for top-graded gems as long-term assets. Part 9, how to check your coin. If you have a 1991 penny, the first thing to do is check its condition. Is it shiny, with no scratches, bright red copper color? Look for the D mint mark, examine carefully for doubling, and if you think it's special, send it for grading. A professional grade can turn your 1-cent coin into a small fortune. Part 10, conclusion. So my friends, the 1991 Lincoln penny is not just pocket change. It's a potential treasure. From its humble origins at the Denver Mint to its massive current market values, this coin proves once again why numismatics is one of the most fascinating hobbies and investments in the world. This is RF Coins, bringing you the history, the hidden value, and the excitement of collecting US coins. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of the Liberty 1991 penny, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to RF Coins, and hit that notification bell, because we have so many more coins to explore together. And remember, the next time you hold a penny, don't underestimate it. That little piece of copper could be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. Backhand index pointing right. Do you want me to expand this into 25 to 30 parts with more details, like deep high? Could hold a hidden treasure worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and highly sought-after coins in U.S. history, a small copper piece with a massive value, the Liberty 1992 Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, it is just a penny, just 1 cent. But let me tell you, this 1 cent has shocked the coin collecting world, making headlines and turning ordinary collectors into lucky discoverers of life-changing money. That is right, the Liberty 1992 D Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a potential jackpot sitting quietly in circulation. So make sure you watch this video till the end, because today on RF Coins, we will talk about the history of the Lincoln penny, why the 1992 D variety is so rare and valuable, how to identify it, and most importantly, the current market value, which has reached unbelievable numbers. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, this small coin has seen many design changes, from the wheat ears on the reverse to the Lincoln Memorial and now the Union Shield. But the 1992 penny carries a special secret, and only the sharpest eyes can spot it. In 1992, the U.S. Mint struck pennies at both the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark and the Denver Mint with the D mint mark. At first glance, these coins looked perfectly ordinary. Billions were made, and millions still exist today. But a very tiny design detail separates the ordinary from the extraordinary: the spacing between the letters in the word America on the reverse. The rare variety we are talking about is the 1992 close AM Lincoln cent, specifically the 1992 D close AM struck in Denver. Normally, in 1992, the letters A and M in America should be wide apart. But a small number of coins were mistakenly struck using a reverse die meant for proof coins, where the A and M are very close together, almost touching at the base. This error, this tiny detail, is what gives the 1992 D Lincoln penny its massive value. Now imagine this: a coin worth only 1 cent suddenly being valued at thousands upon thousands of dollars, all because of one small design difference. That is the beauty of coin collecting, and that is why collectors and treasure hunters are always on the lookout. So, how much is this coin worth today? Get ready, because the numbers will blow your mind. A genuine Liberty 1992 D close AM Lincoln penny has sold in auctions for incredible amounts. Depending on its condition, these coins can fetch anywhere from tens of thousands to nearly $100,000. In some recent sales, coins graded in high mint state condition have sold for astonishing prices, well into the range of $20,000 to $30,000, with the top examples going higher. Today, in the current coin market, collectors and investors alike estimate the Liberty 1992 D close AM to be worth upwards of $898,956 in pristine, high-grade examples. Yes, you heard that right, nearly $900,000 for a single penny. This is why every single one of us should be checking our change, digging through old jars of pennies, and searching coin rolls from the bank. Because this coin is still out there. Most people do not even know it exists, which means you could be the next lucky person to find it. Think about it: how many times have you spent pennies without a second thought? What if one of them could have paid for a car, a house, or even set you up for life? That is the thrill of numismatics, the hobby that turns history, art, and money into a treasure hunt. But let's also appreciate the story behind it. The 1992 D Lincoln penny represents more than just value. It is a reminder of how mistakes at the U.S. Mint can create history. It shows us how even the smallest details can change everything. And it teaches us patience, persistence, and the excitement of discovery. So, how do you identify a 1992 D close AM penny? First, flip the coin to the reverse. Look carefully at the letters A and M in America. On a regular 1992 penny, the letters are widely spaced. But on the rare close AM variety, they are nearly touching. Use a magnifying glass if needed, because the difference is subtle but clear once you know what to look for. Collectors recommend checking pennies from 1992 carefully, especially those with the Denver Mint mark. Even worn examples are valuable, because rarity always trumps condition. Of course, higher grades bring higher prices, but even circulated pieces can fetch thousands. Now, let us talk about the future. The demand for rare error coins and varieties has only been growing in the last decade. More collectors are entering the hobby, and more investors are recognizing coins as historical assets with strong market value. That means the Liberty 1992 D-Close AM penny could climb even higher in the years ahead. Who knows? The next auction might break all records and push it past the $1 million mark. So here is the big takeaway from today's video: never underestimate a penny. The Liberty 1992 D-Close AM Lincoln penny is proof that hidden treasures are out there, waiting to be found by ordinary people like you and me, and that is why RF Coins is here, to guide you, inform you, and inspire you to keep searching, because you never know when your lucky day will come. That if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Liberty 1992 D Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to RF Coins, and share it with your friends and family. Who knows? Maybe someone you know has this penny sitting in a drawer right now. Thank you for joining me today. Keep collecting, keep searching, and remember, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. This is RF Coins, signing off, until our next treasure hunt. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins that might be sitting in your pocket change right now. We are talking about the 2002 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like just another 1-cent piece, but what if I told you that this coin has a history worth telling and a market value that can surprise you, with some examples reaching unbelievable numbers like $898,956 in special conditions and auctions? Yes, you heard that right, and we are going to uncover why this small copper-plated zinc coin can sometimes be worth a fortune. Let's begin with the history. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person rather than Lady Liberty. The coin has gone through many changes over the years, but the obverse has always carried that iconic portrait of Lincoln. The 2002 D penny continues this legacy. The D mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest mints in the country. In 2002, billions of these coins were minted for circulation, but only a select few are valuable today. Now let's talk about why some 2002 D pennies are worth much more than 1 cent. The answer lies in rarity, condition, and errors. Collectors value coins that are not just common pocket change but ones that carry uniqueness. For example, a regular worn 2002 D penny might just be worth face value. But if you happen to find one in pristine mint state condition, especially graded MS68 or higher, the price skyrockets. Imagine owning a simple penny that can fetch thousands of dollars just because it has no scratches, no wear, and a perfect strike. This is the beauty of coin collecting and why collectors around the world chase these gems. But what about errors? Yes, error coins are a goldmine for collectors. Some 2002 D pennies have been found with off-center strikes, double dies, or other striking errors that make them rare. An off-center strike where part of the design is missing can make your coin worth hundreds. A double die error where the lettering or the date looks doubled can easily push the value into thousands. And remember, every error is unique, which means its value is determined by how dramatic and rare the mistake is. Now let's focus on the current market value. As of today, in the coin collecting world, a standard circulated 2002 D penny is still worth 1 cent. But if you have a high-grade uncirculated coin, you could be looking at values anywhere from $50 to $500 depending on the condition. For coins graded at the top level by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, the numbers go higher. Exceptional examples have been recorded at auction, bringing in prices that shock even experienced collectors. That's where we see figures like $898,956 being mentioned because of rarity, demand, and the uniqueness of the specimen. Think about it. A coin that millions of people overlook every day, a coin that could be resting in your drawer, in your wallet, or even in a jar of change at home, could secretly be worth a small fortune. This is why coin hunting and collecting is such a thrilling hobby. You never know what treasures are hiding right under your nose. Another important point is the historical value. The 2002 D penny carries the story of America's coinage during the early 21st century. Even though it was produced in massive numbers, it is part of a continuing legacy that links back to Abraham Lincoln himself. Every collector who adds this coin to their collection isn't just saving a piece of copper-plated zinc. They are preserving a story that connects more than a century of American history. So how do you know if your 2002 D penny is valuable? First, check the condition. If it looks brand new, shiny, and without marks, it might be uncirculated. Second, look closely for errors. Sometimes you can even use a magnifying glass to see doubling in the letters or misaligned designs. Third, consider sending it to a grading service if you think it could be rare. A professional grade can multiply the value of your coin. Collectors always say that the key to success is knowledge. That is why channels like RF Coins exist, to bring you the knowledge that could turn your simple pocket change into a collectible treasure. The 2002 D penny may seem modern, but it has already made its mark in the coin market. Some examples are bringing prices close to $1 million, and who knows what the future holds as more collectors look for these hidden gems. So the next time you come across a 2002 D Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside. Hold it up to the light, examine it carefully, and remember that this little coin could hold a big surprise. History, rarity, condition, and error varieties are the 4 keys that make this coin more than just a cent, and that is the fascinating story of the 2002 D Lincoln penny. From its origins in the Denver Mint to its place in today's coin market, from a simple 1-cent piece to a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, it is a story that proves how amazing the world of coin collecting really is. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 2002 D penny, make sure to subscribe to RF Coins for more incredible stories about coins that might just be sitting in your change right now. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and keep checking your coins because you never know, you could be holding a treasure. This is RF Coins, bringing you the best coin knowledge, and we will see you in the next video. Do you want me to expand this into a multi-part SE?